एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते अस्मिन् लोकः शितः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैत 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 एतद्द्वैत.
Good afternoon, friends. A beautiful evening and a beautiful topic to discuss, and from one of my best friends who have been we both have been working hands to hand in a lot of programs, and this is one topic wherein to hear from chartered accountant it's worth interesting, and one who has done FFP course and he's a faculty to that, it's still more interesting because he always views everything from the fraud angle. So with this, I would request Tushar to introduce today's faculty and carry on with the session. Thank you.
Very good evening to all of you. This is my maiden attempt, so please bear with me. Durgesh bhai, I can say Nami Kafi hai. Durgesh bhai is a fellow member of the ICI and founder partner of the firm DKMS and Associate based in Ahmedabad. He is certified fraud examiner from ACFE USA and pursuing PhD. So we can call him Dr. Durgesh Pandey in short while. Topic forensic analysis of financial frauds. So with this brief introduction, I cannot take your more time. Durgesh bhai, Ganesh bhai will present a memento to Durgesh bhai. So with this brief introduction, I welcome Durgesh bhai on this podium and give a speech for non-stop 2 hours.
आप लोगों में से एसएपी का सेमिनार सैटरडे को कितने लोगों ने अटेंड किया था? किसी ने अटेंड किया था? आपने किया था, तो फिर तो आप जानते होंगे कि मुझे कब ये सेशन बोला गया बताने के लिए. So, anyways, even I learned that I had to take a session today on Saturday around 5 p.m. So,
in fact, without taking your permission, your session was announced.
Yes. I was fiddling with my mobile and then the chairman here, he announced that the faculty for day after tomorrow is playing with his mobile. That is when it caught my attention that I have to speak. Nevertheless, I took it more on a challenging role. क्या दूसरा शहर रहता है तो चल जाता है. If you are at a different place, then things work better. For 2 reasons. First, you have to speak and go. वहाँ पे तो क्या रिव्यू फीडबैक का सिस्टम नहीं होता. पेपर पे जो आता है वो देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. यहाँ पे तो क्या नीचे उतरते ही सुनने को मिल जाता है कि तुम्हें तैयारी नहोती करी, हम बोलिया नहीं व्यवस्थित, શું થયું તું આજે. So that is one reason which pushes you to be on toes. And second thing, being several sessions at one place, you cannot afford to be repetitive. नहीं तो cases तो I have a database of so many cases, but I had to take some new cases. इसीलिए कल तो मैंने छुट्टी मनाया और आज का सारा दिन presentation बनाया. I don't know how much I would be living up to your expectation, but then I have tried to take certain cases and we'll be discussing on 2 cases. One would be the Olympus imaging. I suppose you must have heard उसके कैमरा आते हैं, डिजिटल फिल्म्स आते हैं, रोल आते हैं. that is about the Olympus, and next we will be discussing the Ricoh India, that is again into document and imaging. Ricoh के जो copiers होते हैं, printers होते हैं, ठीक है. Now this being the fag end of CPE calendar, so the first forensic was on the attendance list and the number of registrants. The number of registrants are about 125. तो मुझे लगा तब तो फिर 15-20 जन आएंगे. Had it been around 50, 60, 70 तो फिर मुझे प्रिपेयर करने का भी जरूरत नहीं होता, क्योंकि 2-4 जन आते हैं, चाय पीते, नाश्ता करते, बोलते हैं अरे क्या पढ़ेंगे, क्या सीखेंगे, तो चले जाते सब. But then we have a attendance of, अभी तो लोग बढ़ गए, otherwise जब इंस्टीट्यूट का मोटो बोल रहे थे then we were 21 including me, गणेश भाई और तुषार भाई. अभी कुछ लोग बढ़ गए हैं, ठीक है, अच्छा लगा, पर कुछ लोग चले भी जाएंगे. पहली रो वाले तो उठ के चले जाते हैं ना, इंक्लूडिंग मी. हाँ, दिस इज द कल्चर. इंट्रोड्यूस करो, फंसा दो उसको, फिर बोलो कि अब तैरो तुम, यू हैव बीन थ्रोन इनटू द सी. यस, सो नाउ the topic today was corporate frauds, that is how business fails, learning from the corporate houses. So the idea day before yesterday when I was asked कि कोई topic बताइए जिस पर we can have some deliberations, the central idea behind that was to discuss about a topic which may be pertinent, relevant, and with which we can connect ourselves. So the most known type of fraudulent practices which we chartered accountants can relate to, though it is not a right word to choose relate to, chartered accountants can relate to, but still financial statement fraud is one type of fraud with which we play around always. That is one type of fraud जो हमेशा हम देखते सुनते रहते हैं, पता चलते रहता है क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं होता है. We choose to speak, we choose not to speak. That is a different perception. So that is why we decided to go for financial statement fraud. I was planning to take couple of more cases, but then I thought if time permits, then we can discuss more cases. Otherwise, we'll restrict ourselves to 2. But I have got something about Satyam also. But I consider that most of us, whoever are interested in pursuing financial fraud or financial forensic or forensic accounting or anything pertaining to fraudulent practices as a career, उनका सत्यम पढ़ा हुआ होगा कहीं ना कहीं, कभी ना कभी, किसी न किसी तरीके से. That is why Satyam is not discussed at this forum, because it is a presumption कि आपका पढ़ा हुआ होगा. But then if you say we will discuss very briefly what was the case all about, क्या loss था, क्या तरीका था, थोड़ा बहुत discussion किया जा सकता है, ठीक है. So agenda today is financial statement frauds. We'll be discussing very briefly upon the key statistics published by ACFE in the reports to the nation. I hope you are aware of a biannual survey report which is published by ACFE USA. It is called as Reports to the Nation, RTTN. Okay, that is a biannual survey conducted by ACFE. The participants are all CFEs across the globe, and that survey contains wealth of information like what are the industries which are susceptible or prone to fraudulent practices, what is the average tenure of fraud, what is the average profile of the fraudster, which is the geographic location where frauds occur, what are the types of fraud that are prevalent. So you get a plethora and wealth of information in the reports to the nation. The report. You have a dedicated website for that, RTTN, given by ACFE. So the report is worth reading. It's very good. So we'll be discussing certain key statistics based on financial statement fraud from reports to the nation. We'll be discussing 2 case studies, Olympus and Ricoh. Now the case on Ricoh is not very clear because the matter is still sub judice. अभी तक उन्होंने एक FIR फाइल किया है. The entire modus operandi, everything is not in public domain. So they had 3 chartered accountant firms and forensic audit conducted by PwC, wherein they appointed Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas as a legal counsel, and then they ordered PwC to go for forensic audit, and they have come up with some findings. But still, everything is not very clear. That is why we would not be able to discuss that at length. Still, जो कुछ भी information public domain में available था, वो I have tried to collate it, and then we will be attempting to discuss that. Okay. So, for those who have not attended the FAFP or any of the forensic sessions, just a heads up for you that there is a structure called as fraud tree given by Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. Now again and again we refer to ACFE because that is the only major fraud fighting body which is present globally and which has members all across the world. It is the only body which gives formal certification for financial forensics and which is recognized. Our course conducted by the institute, FAFD or FAFP, depending on whatever you have done and when you have done, that has taken a leaf out of that CFE course. मतलब FAFP और FAFD CFE में उतना similarity है जितना हमारे CISA DISA में similarity है. So it is akin to CISA, but then the acceptance at global level is better for CFE. Okay. So ACFE publishes a document, or it has a concept called as fraud tree. Probably this is 20 years old. This concept of fraud tree is 20 years old. It keeps on adding branches and branches to the concept of fraud tree. Now fraud tree, it is the concept is in a tree format because I was not discussing that, so I have not brought an image of that. But then someday if we'll get an opportunity, I'll definitely tell you. So fraud tree, it is in a tree form. It's in a tree form, and the tree has 3 primary branches. First branch is asset misappropriation. Next is financial statement fraud, and third is bribery and corruption. So your first branch, asset misappropriation, it has highest number of violation. The number of instances, if we count the number of instances, highest number of violations occur in financial statement fraud. But then the average ticket size or the median loss, as we call, the median loss is lowest in case of financial statement fraud. बहुत लाजमी सी बात है, because I will tell you, if somebody has to steal, asset misappropriation can be so small or it can be so big, like falsifying the inventory, falsifying the cash, stealing the cash, using the inventory. It can even extend to, for those who are, I mean, most of us, हमारे यहाँ पर, I suppose, we have chartered accountants in practice, but then for those who use their office printers to get their बच्चे का project report printed, even that constitutes as asset misappropriation. So asset misappropriation is so wide, and that is why the median loss size is very small, but the number of instances are very high. Now at the second band of the spectrum, that is at the lowest band of the spectrum, you have financial statement fraud, where the number of instances are very less. Number of instances are very less. That is, if you will see, it is almost 9%, less than 10%. Just show you the statistics. It is less than 10%. 9.6% instances are there for financial fraud. But then the average loss or the median loss is almost $975,000 or $975,000. Okay, this is the loss. That is why financial statement fraud, they ruin the entire company, because in most cases, in case of financial statement fraud, always you have the owner who's involved in such kind of fraud. And whenever the owner is involved in any type of fraud, he ruins the entire company. So most of the financial statement fraud, they start with buying time. I mean, books are cooked, as we say, books are cooked to buy time. You start with that इस साल का सेल्स टारगेट 100 करोड़ रुपए दिया हुआ है टू द बैंक. You give CMA, you give a sales target to the bank that we'll be achieving 100 crores this year, and then the revenues are short by say 20 odd crores. So based on that, to fill this gap of 20 crores, certain fraudulent transactions are entered into by the perpetrators. Okay, and then this gap, these transactions are entered into with a mindset कि अगले साल में टाइम आएगा and then we'll rectify it and we'll correct it. ज़्यादा मेहनत करेंगे, बेहतर परफॉर्मेंस करेंगे and then we'll cover this loss. वो वैसे होता है जैसे सीए का एग्जाम देके आते हैं ना और फिर सोचते हैं कि इस बार तो फेल हो जाएंगे तो अगली बार पढ़ेंगे तो अभी से पढ़ाई शुरू कर देते हैं. वो वाला माइंडसेट रहता है that we'll start working right from day one, right from April, but then it never happens. And then when you go in the next year, then you are in a position where you have last year's gap of 20 crores and current year's gap of probably more than 20 crores. तो इस साल का जो गैप होता है that is more than 20, 25 or 30, 40 crores that is to be filled. So essentially it is buying time. It starts with a mindset of buying time, but it never happens. Now, financial statement frauds are also known as balance sheet frauds. It is a definition given by ACFE from Reports to the Nation 2012. Every 2 years they publish the report. This definition has been given in 2012. It says that financial statement fraud is a scheme in which an employee intentionally, please, the fraud word always construes intentional. It cannot be something which is unintentional. गलती से गलती होती है, so that comes under the definition of error. When it is deliberate, only then it is fraud. You also have an axiom that fraud is always hidden. Efforts are put in to hide the fraud. That is why it is difficult for chartered accountants to unearth fraudulent practices, because efforts have been put to hide those contrived losses. This is one major reason why external audit fails miserably when it comes to detection of frauds. So financial statement fraud is a scheme in which an employee intentionally causes a misstatement or omission of material information in organizations' financial reports. See, the idea is that any financial reports, these reports are prepared for consumption of investor. कंपनी ऑडिट कराती है, उसके पीछे ये तो लॉजिक होता नहीं है कि हमारा संसार चलता रहे. We as auditors get work. That is not the objective behind a company's accounts getting audited. The primary intention of the accounts getting audited is that it should give correct information to the consumers of said financial statements. So the definition is very simple and plain. It says that any intentional attempt made to hide the information deliberately from the consumers of financial statement would be construed as fraud. Okay? Now, some statistics, you would be surprised to know that the most effective mechanism to detect fraud is anonymous tips. In 39.1% of the times, anonymous tips were the only method which detected fraud. And if you see, external audit falls at 3.8%. Matlab, the basic purpose of external audit is not to detect fraud, but then there is a very big debate going on the role of auditor कि ऑडिटर के रोल को कितना एक्सटेंड किया जा सकता है. how much do you want to extend the role of auditor. There's also a contrary school of thought which says that why do we need due diligence exercise if the books of accounts are audited? What is the sanctity of a auditor auditing a audit report and then getting something totally different while doing the ड्यू डिलीजेंस? कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट से ऑडिट कराने के बाद अगर बैलेंस शीट को फेस वैल्यू पर नहीं लिया जा सकता है, then the entire purpose of auditing is defeated. But then we have a different school of thought which says that we are watchdogs, we are not bloodhound, we have a restricted time frame, we go on sampling. So that is a different story. ठीक है? But then along with that, there is a school of thought that why do audited financial results do not have that reliability factor? Why do we need to go for due diligence? That is a different thing. So if you see internal audit, generally fraud detection is considered as one of the major functions and roles of internal audit team. The internal auditor is one person or one department who's constantly in touch of the company, and you cannot think something wrong happening altogether without the knowledge of internal auditor. So सबसे ज़्यादा problem if some fraudulent practice is detected would be to the internal auditor, because he is supposed to know. He gives attendance of very large quantity when compared to the stat auditor. His area, scope, domain is pretty big when compared to the stat auditor, and that is why the onus or responsibility cast on internal auditor is more than the stat auditor. He is expected to unearth fraudulent practices. Okay. Now, for those who have studied the fraud triangle, repetition for them. Those who have not, we have a concept called as fraud triangle. कितने लोगों को आप लोगों में fraud triangle के बारे में सुना हुआ है? One. That's it. Fraud triangle. See, then let me tell you. See, fraud triangle is one of the most basic, important and preliminary concept when you start learning financial forensics and fraud. The fraud triangle is a concept given by Dr. Donald Tracy. Dr. Donald Tracy was student of Professor Edward R. Sutherland, who coined the term white collar crime. It was he who coined the term white collar crime, I suppose in the year 1938. So his student was Dr. Donald Tracy. He propounded a concept called as fraud triangle. Triangle is considered to be a shape which maintains its integrity in every form. Triangle का अगर एक आर्म आप डिस्टर्ब करो तो बाकी के दो आर्म डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं. So that is the strongest shape considered, कि उसका इंटीग्रिटी हमेशा मेंटेन होता है. So the three corners of fraud triangle were given by Dr. Donald Tracy as opportunity, motivation and rationalization. That is, you have to have motivation. The word pressure is used for motivation. Pressure, opportunity and rationalization. Now, how do you say these three things? That is pressure, opportunity and rationalization. Because for anybody to do something wrong, there has to be a pressure. There has to be a pressure or motivation. ठीक है? And the next thing is opportunity. Now what is opportunity? Opportunity is form of weak internal controls. Weak internal controls, or in case of financial statement frauds, overriding power of top management. Management has power to override established controls. I hope all of us would agree that generally the CMD he has a figure of विश्वरूप in the company कि डायरेक्टर साहब ने कह दिया तो अब इसके बाद तो कोई डिस्कशन का स्कोप ही नहीं रह जाता है. Let us take a very small example. I generally take this example that there is a form called as asset justification form. Asset justification form. There is a form called as asset justification form. It is used in a mid-sized company, say turnover about 50, 60 or 70 odd crores. Such type of company they use asset justification form. Asset justification form का logic क्या रहता है जो हम final costing में सीखे हुए रहते हैं? It is that you have to justify whether you want to buy or lease the asset. So there is a team. You have the production वाला guy, you will have finance, you will have purchase. ऐसे करके 3 लोगों का 4 लोगों का कमिटी बनेगा. 4 लोगों का कमिटी जो है they will be deciding whether if the company wants to buy a new JCB for a mining project. If the company wants to buy a new JCB for the mining project. So you will be having a committee of 4 people who will be discussing the financial viability and requirement or otherwise of that particular JCB. ये JCB हमारे कंपनी में लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा वो डिस्कस करने के लिए 5 लोगों की कमिटी बने हुए हैं. Probably they will be taking 15 days to come to that conclusion that whether we will be needing this asset or not. Now take a similar scenario when the son of the chairman and managing director, he is getting married next month and he wants to buy a top end car. 30-40 लाख का 50 लाख का उनको एक गाड़ी खरीदना है. Now do you think that there will be asset justification form for that? What is the justification for that asset? That he is CMD's son. So this mindset and this power of the management to override the established control processes. This is the trigger point for fraud. It is said that the management, it takes a विश्वरूप का position. विश्वरूप का पोजीशन आई सपोज आप लोगों को पता होगा कृष्ण भगवान ने विश्वरूप का पोजीशन विश्वरूप दिखाए थे तब जाके अर्जुन स्टार्टेड फाइटिंग विद हिज ब्रदर्स. सो वंस यू हैव अ सीनियर मैनेजमेंट पर्सन ही टेक्स अ विश्वरूप पोजीशन की साहब ने कहा तो कुछ गलत नहीं होगा जो बोलते हैं वो कर दो. सो वंस दैट हैपेंस इट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप और बेबी स्टेप व्हेन अ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट फ्रॉड कैन गो. देयर आर अदर कॉन्सेप्ट्स, tone at the top, ethics, all these things, but let us discuss more on the cases, the practical aspect. So this is the motivation. Next is the opportunity, which I already discussed. Opportunity is in form of weak internal control. Last but not the least is rationalization. You have to rationalize to yourself that whatever I am doing is not wrong. There are several ways to rationalize. Say, if I am a disgruntled employee, जो मैं अपनी कंपनी से या मैं अपने बॉस से खुश नहीं हूं, so I'll explain myself कि इसमें क्या गलत कर रहा हूं, वो खुद भी तो इतना चोरी करता है. I deserve this. I deserve this. इससे किसी को क्या फर्क पड़ जाएगा? It comes to say a rupee to every shareholder. What difference does it make? So that rationalization has to come. Only then fraud is committed. This theory of motivation, opportunity and rationalization, this holds true in case of any occupational fraud. Occupational fraud is the word which is used for indulging into any fraudulent practice by virtue of one's occupation. Indulging into any fraudulent practice by virtue of one's occupation. I don't know why my PPTs are not working.
Screen से
कही दो ना एक वक्त.
excuse me, I will call him directly. I'll call him.
Please. किसी का मन नहीं है पढ़ने का और पढ़ाने का, including the systems. Anyways, so the strongest trigger to commit a financial statement fraud is pressure. Pressure to perform, pressure to have name and fame, pressure in case where your monetary compensations are directly linked to the company's performance. In several cases it does happens कि मैनेजर को जो कमीशन मिलता है that is directly part of the percentage of sales. So that again is a pressure. It also happens that you have a slab structure जहां पर 80 करोड़ के टर्नओवर पे कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, 100 करोड़ के टर्नओवर पे 2% मिलने लग जाएगा या 0.02% मिलने लग जाएगा, whatever is reasonable. So that again is a trigger which pushes the management to indulge into unfair trade practice or fraudulent trade practices. So these are all pressure. Now coming to the first case today, Olympus Imaging. Now before going through this case, thank you. Yes. So Olympus Imaging. Now this company is almost 100 years old. Founded in the year 1990. It started with specializing in microscopes and thermometer. It roughly had at a point of time, Wikipedia didn't say when, I was pretty much curious to know when was the market share 70%, but then they didn't write when was the market share 70%, but I suppose somewhere around in 2011, the market share was 20% of the global market. But now it specializes into cameras and medical devices. So I always say that in order to understand financial statement fraud, that is beyond a level when you are beyond debits and credits and GDR issue हुआ है कि derivative instrument है कि complex derivative instrument device किया हुआ है fraud करने के लिए, या तो inventory padding किया हुआ है, या तो larceny किया हुआ है, या तो shell company use किया हुआ है, या off balance sheet item use किया हुआ है. These are different techniques how frauds are committed. And trust me, हम लोगों से अच्छा किसी को नहीं आता है. Either to do or to prevent people from doing, दोनों तरीके से, because the knowledge is embedded in us. जो ज्ञान है वो हमारे अंदर है. So if you go beyond these things, we already know these things. If we go beyond these things, then a very important thing which we don't focus on is to know the culture and ethics of that particular company, in this case country. Now this company is from Japan, and Japan 1989 में, that was the peak of Japanese manufacturing at this point of time. They were the best in the world. There were predictions that Japan will be buying US one day. In 1989, the last 2 decades were not of Japan. पिछले 20 सालों में Japan did not progress the way it used to progress. Rather, stagflation and deflation was there in Japan. So the economy was plummeted. Economy plummeted. But then there are certain Japanese culture if आप लोगों ने अगर सुना होगा हिराकरी, I suppose हिराकरी is called as Japanese suicide. And you know the concept, जापान में उनको खुद को लगता है that if they have not given 100% to something, if they have not given their 100% to something, then they commit hirakari, that is suicide. That मुझे जीने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है क्योंकि I have not given my best. This is a Japanese culture which has helped them to achieve what they have achieved. I'm just telling you these things because this is the genesis of this fraud. ये जो fraud हुआ है, it is because of this thought, the Japanese culture. They also have a culture. I got those Japanese words, but then there's no point in discussing that. Japanese also got a culture that they are a very cohesive group. They never like to defy their bosses. जो culture establish किया, being a cohesive group is in their culture. Being a cohesive group is in their culture. They have a feeling that if something is wrong, and if something is grossly wrong, then together by forming a team, we will pass this phase. They have a culture. They don't like outsiders. बाहर वाले उनके मैटर में इंटरफेयर करे, ये किसी को पसंद नहीं है. Japanese culture. So, in case of Olympus, the entire fraud was unearthed when they appointed a British CEO for first time in their company. Michael Woodworth, he was appointed as CEO of Olympus. He was the first non-Japanese CEO appointed in the company, and he started questioning certain deals which he was not comfortable, accounting for which he was not comfortable. He was sacked, and again, this is the first case where the CEO was the whistleblower. The CEO blew whistle on the company that my company has indulged into certain fraudulent practices which is not correct, and he requested a investigation in the affairs of the company. So, the CEO whistleblower, that is why the topic CEO whistleblower. Now let us understand a little bit about the scheme. In 1980, operating income of Olympus fell sharply due to appreciation in yen and depreciation in dollar. Now, the then CEO, he developed a aggressive strategy. मतलब, when the sales team doesn't performs, the pressure is on the finance team. कि turnover तो achieve करना है, कहीं से भी achieve करो. If the sales team fails, then the finance team is called कि अब आप turnover ले आइए. भले round figure में आते हैं तो क्या हुआ? क्योंकि पैसे तो round figure में आते जाते हैं. तो production वालों का turnover digit में आता है. Round figures में नहीं होते, fractions में होते हैं. But then sales वालों का turnover round figure में होते हैं. आंगड़िया से जितना रुपया आता है जाता है, उसी हिसाब से sales की entry pass होती है. So, then CEO, because the profits were falling sharply, then CEO, he devised a strategy of aggressively manipulating or aggressively managing the finances. That is investing in riskier assets. Zyteco, that was the name given. If you search Zyteco now, though the concept has moved from 1980 to now, but then a search of Zyteco gives you a result that Japanese company, they borrow money from abroad, they create complex derivatives based on that money, and then they lend that money at higher rate in Japan or in other countries outside the country, that is outside the country of borrowing. Now, this company, they aggressively started investing into such complex derivatives and such risky derivatives. But then their gamble gave them results. They started making very good profits up till the year 1987. They started making very good profits up till the year 1987. After 1987, they started incurring losses. And the losses went up to 100 billion yen. Losses went up to 100 billion yen. Now, how were these losses hidden? How were these losses hidden? These losses were hidden by a simple method of not marking to market the investments. At that point of time, fair value accounting उनको applicable नहीं था, तो historical cost पर investments को दिखाते थे. As simple as that. Mark to market नहीं करते थे, तो books में losses recognize नहीं किया. Thereby the investment was exaggerated, profits were exaggerated. Okay. But then there came problem. The problem for these were two gentlemen, Hideo Yamada and Hasashi Mori. Yamada and Mori. So problem for these two gentlemen came in the year 1997 when Japan was in process of implementing IFRS. As we know, IFRS is, it goes on fair value. Discount करना पड़ता है ना, it is a fair value method of accounting. So they had a foresight that once this IFRS things kicks in, then they need to devise a different strategy. They need to devise a different strategy if they want to continue their misdoings, if they still want to cover those losses. Then they needed to devise a different strategy, and they succeeded in devising a different strategy. In 1988, with approval of then President of the Board, they came with a loss separation scheme. Now, what was the loss separation scheme? They started creating different subsidiaries, almost Enron जैसा था. In Enron's case also, they started creating SPEs, special purpose entities. And then at that point of time, the regulations were not so stringent that consolidation would happen. Here also, they started creating shell companies. They started creating shell companies and transferring the worthless investment and financial asset to the shell companies. And these shell companies, again, there was no regulation which insisted upon consolidation with the parent company. How were these shell companies created? The shell companies were created by using very big agencies who helped in creating these shell companies. Do you know one thing about shell company? It is always easy to falsify revenue from service. It is always easy to falsify revenue from service than revenue from sale of goods. आप लोग agree करते हैं इससे?
Yes.
You know why? Because once you want to falsify goods, then there are several things which come into play, like manufacturing, storage, transportation, lorry receipt, warehouse receipt, everything, duties. ठीक है, अब सर्विस टैक्स आने से ये भी डिफिकल्ट हो गया, पर फिर 10 लाख तक तो है. दैट इज वाई सबसे आसान तरीका हम खर्चा डालने का क्या सिखाते हैं कि कमीशन दे दो अगर कोई तैयार हो तो. बिकॉज इट इज ऑलवेज इजी टू फॉल्सिफाई अ सर्विस व्हेन कंपेयर्ड विथ गुड्स. सो shell companies are always used, most of the cases, they are used to falsify service. In this case also, these companies were created in tax haven of Cayman Island. These companies were created in tax haven of Cayman Island. The investments were sold at book value. अभी investment book value पे sell किया है, but then they want money. these shell companies, they did not have money. So they introduced to some banks. These companies were introduced to some banks, and these big shot, that is Yamada and Mori, these two gentlemen, they managed to get loan in these shell companies from different banks. These loans were used in repaying, rather these loans were used not in repaying, these loans were used to discharge the consideration. बुक वैल्यू का जो कंसिडरेशन था उसको डिस्चार्ज किया. अभी प्रॉब्लम क्या हो गया, दैट द लॉसेस वर ट्रांसफर्ड फ्रॉम लाइव एंटिटी टू डमी एंटिटी. लॉसेस तो हैं, कैश लॉस तो हुआ है. सो you already have this cash loss. Now this cash loss were transferred from the parent entity to dummy entity. Now a way had to be devised whereby these losses pertaining to the dummy entities could be amortized systematically without triggering a panic or without putting a burden on the parent company. ठीक है? I hope I'm clear to you. ठीक है, I see so many yawns, but then I don't know. So this is how they decided that something needs to be done. Now they found a way. What was the way found out? They found a way of buying startups. They found a way of buying new startups. These new startups, as you know, कि startup के valuation का कोई ठिकाना नहीं रहता है. हमारा फ्लिपकार्ट ही कहाँ से कहाँ आ गया है, पहले कहाँ से कहाँ गया था और अब फिर से कहाँ से कहाँ वापस आ गया है. And God knows what will happen. It is good it is not listed. अगर otherwise कितने छोटे लोग बर्बाद हो जाते हैं. ये तो जिन लोगों को नुकसान हो रहा है उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है ना. टाइगर ग्लोबल है या KKR है, इनको अगर जो 2-4 बिलियन का नुकसान हो जाता है तो उनको कोई बहुत ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. ठीक है. So what did they do? That they used the loophole that there was no clear mechanism of valuing these startups. So they started buying startups at exorbitant cost. 12 crore की entity 670, entity for 12 million was bought for 670 million. What was the difference? Goodwill. The difference was put as goodwill in Olympus books. It served two purposes. The books used to balance, and the biggest purpose that goodwill can be amortized over a period of 10, 15, 20 years as per then prevalent Japanese accounting policies. So goodwill would be amortized over a elongated period, thereby not significantly affecting the balance sheet. So what did they do? They started booking goodwill. Difference in book value and consideration recognized as goodwill. They hit a bullseye by this, because eventually goodwill would be amortized and reduced to zero. And when the goodwill will be reduced to zero, the underlying losses, the goodwill is nothing but it is camouflage loss. So these losses will also be reduced to zero. Okay? But then came the hurdle, their auditor. In 2009, KPMG, their auditor, it disagreed with the exaggerated figure of goodwill. They suggested an impairment. They suggested an impairment of 55 billion yen and 1.3 billion yen. That was nothing doing. These goodwill are not real. You impair your assets. They also, this two gentlemen, Yamada and Mori, they also planned to buy, this was the company, they also planned to buy a company whereby they were paying $670 million as advisory fees for the M&A deal. The deal size was not this big. but the advisory was far bigger than the amount of deal size. So KPMG again questioned this deal also, that you cannot enter into such frivolous deals. This is totally money laundering of the balance sheet. You are totally taking the investors for right. You cannot indulge into such practices. But then what happened? जो होता है कंपनियों में वो हुआ. 2009 में KPMG का एंगेजमेंट खत्म हो गया और E&Y अपॉइंट हुआ. E&Y ने it gave a green signal and the deal was through. How did it come to light?
So one
Into
thing,
yes.
from where did they get the funds to buy that startup?
लोन लिया था ना,
बैंक से.
बैंक से लोन लिया था ना, 2 बैंक से. वो शेल कंपनीज में लोन लिया हुआ था. वो उसी पैसे को राउंड ट्रिपिंग करते थे.
ओके, वहाँ
हाँ.
पे कंपनी में ट्रांसफर.
हाँ. क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं से तो पैसा चाहिए ही ना. कहीं ना कहीं से तो पैसा चाहिए. हमारे यहाँ पे भी जो भी स्कैम हुआ है, हर्षद मेहता हुआ है या केतन पारेख हुआ है, तो कहीं ना कहीं से पैसे देते हैं. इसीलिए बैंक सबसे रिस्की टारगेट होता है. क्यों? क्योंकि कोई भी स्कैम करने के लिए एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे आपको पैसा चाहिए होता है. पैसा कौन दे सकता है? बैंक. अल्टीमेटली पैसा डूबता किसका है? बैंक. तो कोई भी फ्रॉडुलेंट स्कीम करने के लिए आपको कहीं ना कहीं, क्योंकि वो पैसा कहीं ना कहीं तो जाता ही है. somebody abuses that money, तो कहीं ना कहीं से पैसे का सोर्स तो चाहिए. And which is the simplest source, or rather which is the only source to tap money? It is bank. HNI cannot be fooled for so long, or a private fund house cannot be fooled for so long unless and until they work in connivance. दोनों इकट्ठा हो जाए और करें, कोल्यूशन करके दोनों नुकसान करते तो फिर बात अलग है. अदरवाइज कोई भी प्राइवेट फंड हाउस या कोई ऐसे नहीं कर सकता. ये तो क्या सरकारी पैसा होता है, मान ले मुफ्त दिले बेरम, किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, तो फिर चलता है. So only the bank's funds can be abused this way. So you have to have, in every fraud cases, you have to have a entity which is funding the entire process, and in most of the cases that entity is bank. So how did this scheme came into light? This scheme came into light when in 2011 they appointed their CEO, and he started questioning these deals. He started questioning these accounting practices. And you know what? How did he come to know these deals? सारा अकाउंटिंग उससे, दो he was the CEO, सारा अकाउंटिंग उससे हिडन रखा जाता था. He came to know this from a magazine which carried a report that Olympus is buying or selling or paying such high management advisory fee. It is paying such management advisory fee. So this was the level of secrecy and cohesiveness maintained by the Japanese company in order to prevent their British CEO to know the amount of, to know the fraudulent practices. Yes. What do we have learning from the Olympus case? Let us have a brainstorming a bit. What can we understand? What do we have the learning from the Olympus case? What could be done? What could have been done to prevent this? आप लोग सब ऐसे शांत होकर मुझे मत देखो.
Maybe
हाँ जी,
the stock exchanges also could have taken some action,
Yes, ma'am.
the equivalent of SEBI or
Yes, very important. The next case, I have a severe criticism for SEBI and to all our regulators. वो जैसे हिंदी पिक्चर में दिखाते हैं ना कि पुलिस आखिरी में आती है, हमारे यहाँ पर एक्चुअल में ऐसे ही होता है. I don't know whether that is by design, that is on purpose,
by default.
or by default, by design, that they always come at last.
Because even in the case of Global Trust Bank,
Hmm.
the major reason was the corporate frauds, a host of corporate frauds, especially the the loans and all given to a particular industry, which were all fictitious, and that never came into the limelight. Maybe because forensic audit and all was
See, I'll
not
tell
that
you.
prevalent.
I don't know, I'm no one to comment on the processes of Securities Exchange Board of India, but then I don't know how far they are conducting technical scrutiny of balance sheets. The need of R is such that there has to be a developed team. They do have their surveillance department, they do have their surveillance system, but जो मेरा समझ है उनके surveillance system का, that is centered more on the trading pattern. जो उनका surveillance system है वो trading pattern पे, trading pattern के आजू बाजू, the entire focus is on the trading pattern. Entire focus is on the trading pattern. But then they need to develop a specialized department where exclusive balance sheet analysis takes place. Exclusive balance sheet analysis takes place. I suppose somewhere there are about 4,000, 5,000 odd companies listed on Bombay Stock Exchange, जिस पर आप और हम 500 रुपए जैसे छोटे रकम से नुकसान करना शुरू कर सकते हैं. और सेबी ने परमिशन जो स्टॉक मार्केट के लिए बर्बाद करने के लिए परमिशंस जो दिए हुए हैं, आपका लिक्विड फंड मार्जिन मनी में यूज हो सकता है, आपका फिक्स डिपॉजिट मार्जिन मनी में यूज हो सकता है, आपके इंश्योरेंस का सरेंडर वैल्यू मार्जिन मनी में यूज हो सकता है. मतलब सट्टा करो, खेलो, जितना जुआ खेल सकते हो. तो if the regulators are so liberal in allowing usage of hard-earned money of the retailers, equal vigilance is needed for the companies also. I don't think either the Ministry of Company Affairs or the Securities Exchange Board of India, दोनों में से कोई भी एजेंसी जो है, they religiously and diligently they check the balance sheets. अभी तो फिर भी सिस्टम अच्छा हो गया है because of advisory and because of
the scams that have happened, they have got strict. But see, all these scams, bank scams and all that had happened, if the strictness had come in right from Global Trust Bank, which was the first bank to fall out, maybe like even in the corporate sector also the frauds would have been detected earlier. Now
I agree.
people are more vigilant.
But then the system and processes before 5 years, MCA migrated to a 100% online platform in 2007. I suppose in 2007. 2007 में MCA पोर्टल आ गया, 10 साल से ज़्यादा हो गया. अब शुरू के साल में क्या, अभी इधर 2-3 साल छोड़ के, 2-3 साल पहले के अगर बैलेंस शीट आप डाउनलोड करोगे, I challenge you कि अगर आपको बैलेंस शीट समझ में आ जाता है. We have a saying, if you cannot confirm, confuse. हाँ, कोरा पन्ना स्कैन करके बैलेंस शीट के नाम पे अटैच कर दो. Who cares?
HTTP मोड में सर अभी भी चला जाता है ना वैसे भी.
Who cares?
Even when there are signals, it is not being investigated.
Yes.
Like NSE.
Yes. Yes, sir. And this is the biggest challenge.
Sir, even in MCA there is no scanning of balance sheet and like that. Only they are concerned with the amount or which timely filings. Other
Only
than
the
that,
time filing. Only the timely filings. I think they must be having their own system of ABC, system of analysis, whereby they must be analyzing the big balance sheets. Let us be optimistic and presume कि ऐसा तो वो करते ही होंगे. नहीं तो I am sure हम एंटरप्रेन्योर राज्य से बिलोंग करते हैं और हम ऐसी जगह से बिलोंग करते हैं जहाँ पर सब लोग शेयर में कुछ ना कुछ इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. तो इस पॉजिटिव नोशन और पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग के साथ ही हमको आगे बढ़ना चाहिए कि नहीं करते ही होंगे, हमारे बिहाफ पे ये लोग करते ही होंगे, ऐसा हम मानते हैं. बट देन my reading, my understanding, it suggests otherwise. I don't think that they have a robust practice in place to analyze the balance sheet. And it is a big practice area for the chartered accountants if they do have something.
they should
Yes.
also have a scrutiny system.
They should. अभी बीच में मैंने सुना था कि टेक्निकल स्क्रूटनी ऑफ बैलेंस शीट शुरू किया है MCA ने, क्योंकि ये जो नेम अप्रूवल जो था ना, वो नेम अप्रूवल तो मैनेजर चला गया,
Centralized.
हो गया नेम अप्रूवल.
Yes.
So now they were free.
So now from now onwards, 1st Feb, they are incorporate. If you incorporate a company, they would be giving PAN directly in the certificate of incorporation.
Good. But I'm sure with technical advancements, things will improve, things are bound to improve, and then with the focus on forensic audits being the in thing, with the focus on technology and forensic audit, I think we have a very bright future. Yes, हमारे compliance based practice जो है, जो हमारा core practice है, compliance based practice, I fear they may be redundant in say 3, 5, 7 or 10 years at the max. 10 साल बाद हो सकता है compliance based practice ना रह जाए, but 10 साल तक तो रहेगा. Yes, these are some of the learnings which I found. Establishment of anonymous helpline to prevent the fraudulent behavior. You know why?
Anonymous tips.
Because of the anonymous tips. Because anonymous tips comprise almost 39% of detection of frauds. That is why if you have an anonymous helpline, it helps a lot. All this
But
Big Four.
There are chances of false tips being
There are
given by
chances.
disgruntled employees.
There are
also.
chances. There definitely are chances of having a false employee. So for that you have to have an effective whistleblower mechanism. There's an effective whistleblower mechanism. उसमें एक graphical way से I could have explained. मेरा laptop तो नहीं लगा हुआ है. But then October 2016 का जो Chartered Accountant Journal था, उसमें I had written a paper on whistleblower, establishing a whistleblower mechanism. This is a whistleblower mechanism. So once you have a whistleblower mechanism, the mechanism also take care of every complaint received. You have a preliminary investigation, and besides you have a profiling of the fraudster ना. हमने ये जो मोटिवेशन, अपॉर्चुनिटी और रैशनलाइजेशन बताया, इसमें एक सबसे बड़ा रेड फ्लैग होता है फ्रॉडस्टर का, लिविंग बियॉन्ड मींस. Living beyond means. If my purchase manager, whose salary is 25,000, if he maintains a car, if he maintains a house in a posh area, then because something is wrong, he is living beyond his means. How come he is able to sustain this lifestyle? There has to be something. So living beyond the means, this is one of the strongest red flag of something is wrong. ठीक है? Then imbibing ethical and moral values in the management structure of the company. This is the most difficult thing, and this is one thing which is root cause of the entire corruption or fraudulent practices. Eroding moral and ethical values. There's a Kohlberg theory of moral development. I mean, some other day, but वो बताया हुआ है कि they give a story. I'll just give you very briefly. They give a story that a person's wife is very sick. He has to buy a medicine. Now the cost of the medicine is say 10 rupees, but the pharmacist is selling at 100 rupees. Now this person, he desperately wants to buy that money, but he is unable to afford that amount of money. He uses all his relatives and friends, and he wants to buy that medicine, but he cannot buy even after utilizing all his contacts. What does he do? At the night, he steals the medicine from the chemist's shop. Now comes the question about the theory of moral development. इसमें 4 स्टेज है, हर स्टेज पर डिफरेंट फंक्शंस है कि मॉरलिटी क्या है. What is morality? We were just discussing what is the difference between rule versus principle. Rule versus principle. It was one of the tracks in ACFE का session. ACFE का session था दुबई में. I was just going through the brochure. the ethical dilemma, rule versus principle. I thought of incorporating one of our conferences. देखते हैं कभी मौका मिलता है तो. Ethical dilemma, rule versus principle. क्या हो सकता है?
Principles are based on some scientific study, whereas rules.
As per rule, it may be
Just
correct,
guessing.
but principally it may be wrong.
Rule may be correct, principally it may be wrong. Yes, sir. Let us extend it little bit to psychology.
Yes.
Rules may be compulsory and principles self-driven.
Yes. Rules are by virtue of statute. Rules are law.
Law.
Principles are self-made law.
Subjectives.
Subjectives. Morals. टेक्निकली ये बैलेंस शीट साइन करने से मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. I have guarded myself by choosing good adjectives. That is how we guard ourselves, ना?
Yes.
Best explanation given to us as per my knowledge. जो MR ले लेते हैं दुनिया भर का. That is rule. But principle, because this would be utilized in a unethical activity, I would not involve myself to be associated with this. This is the principle. मैंने यहाँ पर देखा है गुजरात में एक बार हमारे नेबर थे, जैन थे, तो IPO का सीजन चल रहा था. आई एम टॉकिंग लॉन्ग बैक. तो ऑर्किड होटल्स थे, और ऑर्किड ऑर्चिड जो जहाँ जैसे प्रोनाउंस करते हो, ठीक है. ऑर्किड होटल का IPO था. आई सेड आप लोग नहीं भर रहे हो ये IPO, अच्छा रिटर्न मिल जाता है. He was telling ના એ તો બધું 5 સ્ટાર હોટલ છે, તો એ તો બધું શું છે, એ તો બધું નોનવેજ બનાવે, એટલે આપણે શું કામ આપણા પૈસા આપવાના એમને. Classic example of principle. And it hit me hard that even these are the sentiments based on which investment decisions are taken. In wildest of my imagination, I would have never thought that कि ऑर्किड होटल का एप्लीकेशन पार्टी में भरा ही नहीं जाएगा, क्योंकि कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड जैन पॉपुलेशन है वहां पर. बट देन सिद्धांत है, प्रिंसिपल है. उन्होंने कहा कि આપણે શું કામ આપણા પૈસેથી એ લોકોને આપવાનું, એ લોકો બધું નોનવેજ બધું બનાવે ને બધું, મતલબ પણ આપણે શું કરવું ને, એમાં તો આપણે ક્યાં ઇન્વોલ્વ છે, પણ છેવટે પૈસા તો આપણા જ ને. વોટ યુ સે ઇઝ કરેક્ટ. ડાયરેક્ટલી ઇનડાયરેક્ટલી વી આર રિસ્પોન્સિબલ. એનીવેઝ, so imbibing ethical and moral values in management structure of the companies, we have a word for that which is called as tone at the top. There has to be ethical tone at the top. The top management has to be ethical and ethical to the highest level. अगर मेरे कैशियर को ये दिखता है कि डायरेक्टर साहब को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, तो फिर मेरा कैशियर बोलेगा कि जब साहब अपने घर में 15 लाख रुपए का गद्दा लगवा रहे हैं, तो मैं 2000 रुपए के पेट्रोल का चोरी कर दे रहा हूं, तो मैं क्या गलत कर रहा हूं. So ethics should percolate from top. Tone at the top. Okay?
So demonetization help in improving ethical and moral values?
It did for about a month. I don't know. I mean, I'm not supposed to say this because मैंने तो एक स्क्रूटनी के केस में RTGS किया है.
हाँ मांगते हैं.
हाँ मांगते नहीं सर, बकायदे मैसेज कर देते हैं.
हाँ बोल दिया मुझे कि आप ये नंबर पे पैसे भेज दो.
हाँ ये नाम है, इसमें ट्रांसफर कर दो. बिल चाहिए तो आपको बिल भी मिलेगा.
बोला कि एक्सपेंसेस में क्लेम कर दो.
हाँ मतलब हमने तो आपका 30% बचा दिया,
With receipt.
आप एक्सपेंस पे क्लेम कर लोगे.
आपने RTGS किया, मैंने किया नहीं.
मैंने किया सर.
मैंने नहीं किया. मैंने फिर उसको बहुत अच्छे से धमकाया.
ठीक है सर, अब हम तो क्या है, हम तो सबको धमकाना चाहते हैं, हमारा तो धंधा है, धमकाने से घर चलता है. लेकिन अब क्लाइंट ही नहीं तैयार है तो क्या करें अपने. क्लाइंट बोलता है कि बिजनेस करेंगे कि ये सब खुरापात करेंगे.
मैंने बोला मैं ही जाऊंगा, तुमको कोई टेंशन.
दे दो.
We can't change the system.
मैं सबक सिखा के आ गया उसको.
अच्छी बात है सर, गुड. यस, सो certain management practices, whether conversion from traditional method to IFRS is good or bad. In this case, it definitely was good. So every system has its own share of good and bad. Here what we have seen is good of IFRS. Let us move to the next case, very small case, not more than 5-6 slides. I'll very briefly explain you. Ricoh is a global technology company specializing in office imaging equipment. मेरे ख्याल से आपने देखा होगा सारी बड़ी-बड़ी ऑफिस में जो जंबो प्रिंटर्स होते हैं वो Ricoh को होते हैं. Office equipment producing print solution, document management systems and IT services. It is headquartered in Tokyo. Ricoh Group, I don't know, somehow आज जापान का दिन था. Ricoh Group operates in about 200 countries and regions. In financial year ending 2016, Ricoh Group had worldwide sale of 2209 billion yen. Okay. Now, you know the problem at Ricoh, when did it come to light? When Ricoh did not file its financial results for 2 consecutive quarters to SEBI, to BSE. And the best thing what BSE did is it shifted the share into Z category because of non-compliance of listing requirement for 2 quarters. Story खत्म. BSE ने अपना काम किया. अब जहां तक मैं समझता हूं, BSE के सिस्टम्स होंगे, कंप्यूटराइज सिस्टम्स होंगे जो अलर्ट देते होंगे कि ये कंपनी का 2 क्वार्टर तक रिजल्ट नहीं है तो इसको Z कैटेगरी में ट्रांसफर कर दो. ये ह्यूमन ड्रिवन नहीं होगा, सिस्टम ड्रिवन होगा. So the best decision what was taken by BSE was to transfer the share to Z category and then wait and watch क्या होता है. 26 में से BSE ने ट्रेडिंग भी बंद कर दिया. 26 में it stopped trading. Now I have its balance sheets of 5 years. I didn't share, but then if you want, I'll drop a mail. It is in the public domain. It is from a Stakeholders Empowerment Services. That is a company which has done the analysis. This presentation is based on that. Now, total revenue in the year March 11 were roughly 300 crores. And they went to 1654 crores. That is, the sales grew 5 times in last 5 years. But liabilities grew 9 times. That also non-current liabilities. And without any capital expenditure, no capex. Ricoh is mostly into trading. They are not into manufacturing. जापान से इंपोर्ट करते हैं या चाइना से. अब आजकल तो जापान से कोई नहीं इंपोर्ट करता, सब चाइना से इंपोर्ट करते हैं. And then assembly के बाद trading. So no capital expenditure. They didn't establish a factory, they didn't purchase land, they didn't add systems, no significant capex. Even after that, 9 times the liabilities grew by 9 times. Receivables grew by 13 times. Receivables grew by 13 times. Sales had grown only by 5 times. Receivables 13 times. It is a big red flag. फ्रॉड का रेड फ्लैग है, वो तो है या नहीं है, अपनी जगह पर है. सबसे बड़ा रेड फ्लैग ये है कि हमारा कलेक्शन सिस्टम कितना वीक हो गया है, सेल्स का कलेक्शन कितना वीक हो गया है. और फ्रॉड का सबसे बड़ा रेड फ्लैग तो ये है दैट वेदर दीज आर एक्चुअल सेल्स. Had these been actual sales, they would have given money. These are not actual sales in first place. So because these are not actual sales, there is no question of recovery of these funds. So you see the receivables grew 13 times to sales. Infusion of funds even without any increase in capex. Weak corporate governance. Board meeting only formality. For a listed company of this size, which has 75% equity of the promoter, 73.60, Ricoh Group. The Ricoh Group has 73.60% stake in this. And The entire board meeting were formality. I have the statistics of board meeting. 4 ही board meeting हुआ था और उसमें से audit committee का तो कोई relevance ही नहीं था. There were directors who didn't attend a single meeting out of 15 meetings. Out of 15 meetings, the director didn't attend a single meeting, and again he was nominated for reappointment. Again the director was nominated for reappointment, and there they had a institutional investors, IDFC Mutual Fund. IDFC Mutual Fund, it holds 1.97% of the equity, roughly 2% of the equity. IDFC holds roughly 2% of the equity. IDFC voted against the resolution with a statement that if the gentleman is unable to spare time, it would be better to select somebody who can spare time for the company. Because out of 15 board meetings, he didn't attend a single board meeting. They had their auditors, Sahni, Natarajan and Bal. I have the firm registration number also, दे दूंगा जब किसी को खोजना होगा तो. They were the auditors for past 15 years, giving clean report for past 15 years, that everything is good, everything is fine. Then, because the 2 quarter का report file क्यों नहीं हुआ? Because they appointed a different auditor, BSR and Company. I suppose they are KPMG or E&Y, दोनों में से कोई एक है, BSR and Company. नहीं, BSR and Company. BSR and Company, they were appointed. BSR and Company LLP, they were appointed, and they gave a report that the financials cannot be relied upon because several of the original documents were not shown to us. That is why the financials cannot be relied upon. Even the management in its board report, it has given that we construe the balances as on 31/3/2015 as true. If the balances as on 31/3/2015 are not correct, there may be significant change in the financials presented during the next fiscal. After that, because BSR and Company, they didn't give a conclusive report, they didn't express the opinion, they didn't give a conclusive report, they didn't express the opinion at all. They appointed another firm, SS Kothari and Mehta, Delhi based firm है, उनको appoint किए. They also did not provide the report. They gave a inconclusive report. That is the word used, inconclusive report. Based on that, they went to Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas, the second firm of Amarchand Mangaldas. दो भाई अलग हो गए ना? So they went there. Now they are not chartered accountants, नहीं तो वो तो हर किसी चीज पे ओपिनियन दे देते हैं, वकील लोग, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. So Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas, they were appointed as counsel to advise in this affair, in this matter. And then Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas, I don't understand why this complexity. They appointed PwC for forensic audit. So technically PwC was auditing RICO India, but reporting to SAM and Company, not to RICO India. अब हो सकता है ना उसमें क्लाइंट का प्रिविलेज होता हो कि उसको सेबी में देना हो, नहीं देना हो, बीएससी पे देना हो, नहीं देना हो. कंपनी का है तो मैंडेट है कि आपको बीएससी में डिस्क्लोज करना पड़ेगा. लॉयर फर्म है, they have nothing to do with us. It is a contractual capacity. We have signed a contract whereby they have stated what are the deliverables. They need not explain these deliverables. That is for them to decide. So the audit committee was non-existent. It had nothing to do with that. After adverse voting, we already discussed. They had a unexplainable line item in the balance sheet. The unexplainable line item was subsidies and warranty receivable. Now to all these 3 auditor firms, जो नए 3 auditor आए थे, all these 3 auditor firms couldn't understand what is subsidy and warranty receivable. 3 chartered accountant firms, leading chartered accountant firms in the country, they are unable to understand a line item which has grown from 8.11 crores to 116.60 crores in 5 years. And
Fictitious sale, debtors from fictitious sales were transferred to.
and you know what? The onus was casted by all these 3 firms. The onus was casted on the erstwhile auditor, जो 15 साल audit किए हैं, that please come out clean and explain this line item. ये क्या है? पर वो तो क्या गलत होने के बाद थोड़ी कोई बाहर आता है, वो तो गायब हो गए. इतना ज्यादा, इतना बड़ा रेमिफिकेशन भी नहीं है कि कोई डिसिप्लिनरी हो. यस, फाइनेंसिंग जो आप लोग फाइनेंसिंग कराते होंगे तो आप लोग एक्सटर्नल क्रेडिट रेटिंग जो था, सी इट इज लाइक गोल्डन पीकॉक ऑफ सत्यम. Before this fraud came into light, India ratings मेरे ख्याल से Fitch हुआ, if I'm not wrong. India ratings, Fitch, it rated RICO, and the rating what it gave was 3 notch higher than the previous rating. अच्छा, इंडिया रेटिंग ने रेटिंग दिया, ऑडिटर बोलता है कि मेरे को डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं मिलता है ऑडिट करने के लिए. लुक एट द आयरनी. ऑडिटर बोलता है कि मेरे को ऑडिट करने के लिए डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं मिलते हैं. रेटिंग एजेंसी वाला बोलता है कि उसको डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिले, उसने तो रेटिंग किया, रेटिंग 3 नॉच ऊपर करके दे भी दिया. देयर इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग वॉइस व्हिच सेज दैट इंडिया रेटिंग को भी बैन कर देना चाहिए. I don't know कितना सही है. And again, you know, this rating again, it is again a very gray area. इस पे फिर ये दोनों जन झगड़ा करेंगे. कौन दोनों? Who are the two regulators who will fight for the ratings? SEBI and
Rating agency.
no, RBI. RBI says this is under our purview. जैसे सहारा के लिए झगड़ रहे थे ना दोनों कि मैं डंडा मारूंगा, वैसे इसके लिए झगड़ेंगे, क्योंकि इट विल से आरबीआई हैज अ पॉइंट दैट these ratings directly banks are affected. Based on these ratings, banks go for their provisioning norms. Asset class के ऊपर से provisioning होता है. So based on these ratings, the banks go for provisioning. RBI has a contention whereby SEBI says that all our public listed companies are rated, so it affects their asset quality also. Or loan book, not the asset quality, loan book. It affects their loan book. So I don't know. There has to be a way and mechanism devised for regulating these rating agencies. And I'm sure, पता नहीं यहाँ पर it is a flourishing practice, हाँ? Rating consultancy. रेटिंग कंसल्टेंसी अपने अहमदाबाद में बहुत सारे लोग नहीं, अभी कम लोग हैं. जब से ये, हाँ जी,
CS कर सकते हैं?
क्यों नहीं कर सकते? सीए क्या नहीं कर सकते हैं?
Is it acceptable?
Why not? It is acceptable. आप मेरे को बताओ कैसे acceptable नहीं है?
अच्छा.
It is only consultation.
See, I'll tell you
Becoming a media.
what is rating. Rating, and it is, trust me, this has been told to me by a analyst, senior analyst, जो 200 करोड़ का लोन पोर्टफोलियो पर अपना ओपिनियन एक्सप्रेस करने मुंबई से स्पेशली फ्लाई किए थे. एंड आई वाज गिविंग द फाइनेंशियल्स का प्रेजेंटेशन व्हिच आई हैड नो आइडिया ऑफ कि ये क्या फाइनेंशियल्स है, बट स्टिल मुझे बोला कि आप बोलो, तो मैंने बोला ठीक है मैं बोल देता हूँ. मैंने बोला मुझे कुछ आता नहीं है. बोले उनको कुछ जानना नहीं है, दे ओनली वांट somebody who speaks good. मैं बोला ठीक है, पे मी, आई स्पीक गुड, आई डोंट माइंड. मैंने बोला ये फाइनेंशियल भी मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा, कुछ पूछेंगे कि ऑर्डर बुक क्या है और कितना बैंक है, क्या कंसोर्शियम है, ये वो मुझे कुछ नहीं पता है. बोले हमारी फाइनेंस टीम है आपको हेल्प करने के लिए, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट तो आप हो ही, हैंडल कर लेना. ठीक है चलो कोई बात नहीं. तो ये रेटिंग एजेंसी एनालिस्ट का ऐसा कहना है कि यह रेटिंग इज 50% अकाउंट्स फाइनेंस एंड 50% perception, outlook. It is the presentation and perception given to the committee. रेटिंग की कमिटी होती है ना, इकोनॉमिस्ट्स होते हैं जिसमें रेटिंग की कमिटी होती है, तो जो परसेप्शन और आउटलुक कमिटी को दिखाया जाता है, बेस्ड ऑन दैट दे गिव द रेटिंग, based on that they give the rating. So this rating is I mean the entire process of rating becomes questionable under such situations, and in this case the creditworthiness of rating agency was a big question mark, because you give a statement that ठीक है, books are fine, rather you have raised the rating by 3 notches. जनरली ये रेटिंग वाले बोलते हैं कि 1 नॉच से ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ता है, एक्सट्रीम केस में 2 नॉच, 3 नॉचेस, दैट मीन्स वेरी बिग अचीवमेंट. And 6 months after giving the ratings, the company has a massive corporate fraud, accounting malpractice, rather it is accounting malpractice is the proper word. And the irony is that the auditors say कि हमको बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स नहीं मिल रहा है कि हम ओपिनियन एक्सप्रेस करें, और रेटिंग वाला रेटिंग दे देता है. Now the PwC report, they just had a para and I have broken that para into these bullets. PwC का report बोलता है they didn't quantify anything, at least not in public domain. We don't have anything in public domain, and probably I couldn't, होगा तो भी I couldn't search off in a day. So they say that there were unsupported out of book adjustments were made to net sales, expenses, liabilities and assets. See, unsupported adjustment to everything, net sales, expenses, liabilities and assets. That means it is a good way of saying कि सब कुछ fraud है. It is a euphemism, ना? Revenue recorded based on orders in hand without dispatch. These are the exact words, huh? I have not altered anything. Revenue recorded based on order in hand without dispatch. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Fictitious revenue. Work in progress को sale दिखा दिया है. Very substantive back-to-back purchase sale with no value addition. Very substantive back-to-back purchase and sales with no value addition. What does this means? उसका मतलब है परचेस सेल की एंट्री ली है सामने सामने, हाँ, टर्नओवर बढ़ाने के लिए. यही हुआ ना, दूसरा कुछ मतलब निकलता है, मैं तो यही समझाऊं. विथ नो वैल्यू एडिशन, तो करोड़ रुपए का परचेज आया, राधा करोड़ तो मैं छोटा अमाउंट बोल रहा हूँ, 25 करोड़ का परचेज आया, सामने 25 करोड़ का सेल हो गया और 1% मार्जिन के साथ सेल हो गया. अभी का बात है ये मैडम, 2015-16 का है ये, अभी तो ये पब्लिक डोमेन में भी पूरा केस नहीं है. हाँ, पकड़ने तो चाहिए. इन आइडियल सिचुएशन उसको भी पता नहीं होगा मैंने खरीदा. इन आइडियल सिचुएशन पकड़ने तो चाहिए. आरटीजीएस करवा दें, पर ये तो हिंदुस्तान है, आरटीजीएस हो जाता है. है कि नहीं?
नहीं, वो आपने बोला ना नॉन करंट लायबिलिटीज किया है.
हाँ,
तो सर एंट्रीज 50 है,
अनसपोर्टेड आरटीजीएस
अनसपोर्टेड है सारा कुछ. नहीं तो अगर वो आरटीजीएस दिखा है तो फ्लो में आ जाएगा फंड. हाँ, तुरंत मिसमैच होता है.
पेमेंट तो हुआ ही होगा ना सर.
अनसपोर्टेड एंड बैकडेटेड ट्रांजैक्शन, पेमेंट तो हुआ ही होगा, जिसको जहाँ जैसे चाहिए होगा पेमेंट तो हो ही गया होगा, बाकी एंट्री घूमी होगी, आउटस्टैंडिंग खड़ा होगा. Unsupported and backdated transaction. Now in this case, the entire credibility of chartered accountant who audited this, and including the entire fraternity, including you, including me, it is questionable. कोई हमारे वेटरन्स को याद नहीं रखता है. सब यही याद रखते हैं कि तमिल को तो सेटिंग बहुत सारी पाड़ो। एनीवेज, आई वाज एट अ सेशन, स्टूडेंट्स का सेशन था। वो एक लड़का मेरे को बोलता है, इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा था, मेरे ख्याल से फाइनल ईयर इंजीनियरिंग में था या फाइनल ईयर मैनेजमेंट में था, मतलब एमबीए इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज था। वो मेरे को बोलता है कि सर पैनल डिस्कशन था, तो सबसे पहले तो बोला कि आई वुड लाइक माय क्वेश्चन टू बी आंसर्ड बाय मी, मतलब दुर्गेश पांडे। मैंने बोला ठीक है भाई, शूट, टेल मी। तो बोला कि एक मेरे को छोटा सा, मतलब दूसरे स्टेट का था, हिंदी भाषी थे, बोला एक मेरे को छोटा सा तरीका बताइए ना फ्रॉड करने का। छोटा सा तरीका बताइए फ्रॉड करने का। और ही सेड दैट ये चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स बैलेंस शीट इतनी मैनिपुलेट करते हैं, आप मेरे को कुछ सिखा सकते हो? मैंने कहा सबसे पहले तो हमको डिग्रियां बहुत रगड़ के मिलती है। बी प्रिपेयर्ड टू कंज्यूम योरसेल्फ and get into affair with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Only then you can reap this reward. और मैंने कहा जिसको आप बोलते हो कि बैलेंस शीट मैनिपुलेट की हुई होती है, वो बैलेंस शीट मैनिपुलेट नहीं की होती है। A balance sheet is encoded by a chartered accountant, which can again be decrypted or decoded by another chartered accountant. तो ये सीखने के लिए you have to be in either of these steps. Nevertheless,
has the institute taken any action against any of the previous?
I don't know. Public में तो ऐसा होगा ना कि Suomoto Institute has instituted a disciplinary proceedings on what was that name of the firm? Shah, Sahni, Bal and Natarajan. Sahni, Natarajan and Bal. होगा, public domain में ऐसा होगा. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Suomoto, has taken cognizance of the fraud perpetrated in Rico India Limited, and the institute, the CA Institute has started an inquiry into affairs of the alleged firm. Disciplinary proceedings as mandated under the Chartered Accountant Act 1949 are being conducted. Law will take its course. We believe in Indian judiciary.
Are credit agencies governed by any act or provisions?
RBI, they are appointed under RBI.
I suppose there has to be some regulation, but I am not very sure of what regulation.
Because you never find a news item that there is a case or liability fixed on them.
But I suppose I think जितना हमको NPA के लिए क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता है, हम तो एक ऐसी फ्रेटर्निटी है जिनको हमको सबसे ज्यादा क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता है। ठीक है, हम उस लायक भी क्रिटिसाइज करने के लायक, क्योंकि somehow we are also part and parcel of that game. ठीक है, किसी ने बैलेंस शीट ऑडिट की है, किसी ने लोन दिलाया हुआ है। ठीक है, तो हाँ, किसी ने लोन दिया हुआ भी है, वहां पर भी तो बैंकर भी तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट होता है। हम तो वी सीट ऑन ऑल साइड्स ऑफ द टेबल, नॉट दैट साइड और दैट साइड। ठीक है, तो लेकिन मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि ये रेटिंग एजेंसीज, दे आर आल्सो इक्वली रिस्पांसिबल फॉर दिस मेस।
So also their work is like ours only. It's only opinion based. There is nothing like specific, or their outlook is defined and their rating is defined. So if we go company wise company, rating would differ. Like that.
आप एक चीज समझो ना, when the analysts themselves say
Yes.
that it is based on perception, तो perception तो कितना vague word हुआ।
You cannot challenge a perception.
हाँ, how can you challenge perception, that also of a Nobel laureate or a person who claims to be economist having opinion on India? यहाँ पे अभी डिमोनेटाइजेशन का चर्चा करो।
Valuation में
मोदी जी का भी तो एक परसेप्शन ही था डिमोनेटाइजेशन के लिए। हम सबका भी अपना अपना परसेप्शन है कि वो सही हुआ या गलत हुआ, या कितना सही हुआ कितना गलत हुआ। तो परसेप्शन का तो कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है। इनफैक्ट परसेप्शन बोल के तो इट इज एवरीथिंग इज श्रग्ड अंडर द कारपेट बाय सेइंग परसेप्शन। और इट इज, मतलब ये मेरा मानना है और आप लोग अग्री करेंगे, जितना ज्यादा सब्जेक्टिविटी उतना ज्यादा गलत होने का चांस। जितना ज्यादा सब्जेक्टिविटी, जितना ज्यादा ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, उतना क्लैरिटी। Thank God our CA examinations are still subjective.
Even the bank's own internal
Rating system.
rating models
Yes.
are much better than even.
Yes, sir. I agree. क्यों पता है सर? क्योंकि वो डिफाइंड है, परसेप्शन पे नहीं चलते हैं,
Their systems are
वो प्रोसेस बेस्ड है.
And even sir, I would say that previously, about 15 years before, these rating models of banks were very subjective. Then
Okay.
they kept on revising the
Revising,
models,
improvising,
and
improvising.
now they are so robust. Even their rating, what is given by the internally bank, that is much better than even external rating.
I agree. क्योंकि उसमें अल्टीमेटली तो सिस्टम डिवाइस रेटिंग है, सिस्टम डिराइव्ड रेटिंग है, उसका लॉजिक समझा तो जा सकता है.
और कभी-कभी वो लोग उसको इग्नोर ही करते हैं. वो बोले हमारे
External
लिए खाली
credit
करा-
इनको ना, हाँ.
बोलते हैं, हमारे लिए खाली कराना
अरे
जरूरी है. इनको
सर आप इग्नोर करते हैं, बोल रहे हैं इनफॉर्मली बैंक वाले बोलते हैं, अभी तो खैर ठीक है ब्रिकवर्क बैन हो गया, नहीं तो इनफॉर्मली बैंक वाले बोलते हैं कि हम फिच को और ब्रिकवर्क को नहीं कंसीडर करते हैं.
नहीं ऐसा बोलते हैं.
हाँ, एकदम गुल्लम गुल्ला कि फिच वाला ले आओगे हम मानेंगे नहीं, क्रिसिल का या इकरा का लेके आओ. ऐसा है. अब फिर उसके साथ झगड़ा करो कि रिटर्न में दो, तो बोलेगा फिर रिटर्न में दे देता हूं और लोन लो. So it had unsupported and backdated transaction nexus between key managerial person, vendor and customers of the company. Customers having bogus address. That is why receivables became 13 times. Because customers had bogus address. Everything, you can connect the dots. Cases of vendors and customers undue favor of payment and other arrangement having been given and sale of non-existent product. माल था ही नहीं, बिल बन गया.
परचेस कुछ किया और सेल कुछ किया.
हाँ, परचेस कुछ किया, सेल किया. सर परचेस किया भी नहीं किया कि उसका भी पता नहीं है. This, because of this forensic audit, they declared a 683 crore line item as an exceptional item. They never said that this is fraud, but it is construed कि ये fraud के amount को represent करता है. Exceptional item. Routine नहीं है, non-routine है. We presume कि fraud उनके यहाँ routine नहीं है, non-routine है. Only then it is exceptional item or extraordinary item. Otherwise it would have been ordinary item.
Debit or credit to director's account.
हाँ, debit or credit to director's account. They did that. They did debit or credit to director's account.
That is what it do.
No. In this case, recapitalization. The parent company, Japanese parent and NRG Group, they promised a recapitalization of 1123 crores. This was the amount of fictitious liability. इतना उन्होंने recapitalization commit किया है, and probably they have brought also, or they have not brought, I don't know, but then they have committed that they will be bringing in so much fund without diluting the stake of minority. Without diluting the stake of minority. Now, why they are criticized? They are criticized because उन्होंने ये जो forensic audit कराया है ना, ये forensic audit उन्होंने 1 अप्रैल 2015 से 30 सितंबर 2015 तक का ही कराया है. मतलब जितने पीरियड का दोनों क्वार्टर का फाइनेंशियल्स सबमिट बीएससी में नहीं हुआ है, उतने पीरियड का ही उन्होंने कराया है. नाउ दे आर वेहेमेंटली क्रिटिसाइज्ड कि व्हाई डोंट यू गो प्रायर टू दिस. अभी उसका दो रीजन है. सबसे बड़ा रीजन ऐसा है कि 73% स्टेक जापानीज पेरेंट का है और बोर्ड में जो डोमिनेंट पोजीशन रहा हुआ है वो भी जापानीज पेरेंट का रहा हुआ है. तो अभी तो उन्होंने 1123 करोड़ इंट्रोड्यूस करने से वो जो अमेरिकन सिस्टम था वो इंडिया में आ गया है ना, पेइंग द फाइन विदाउट एक्सेप्टिंग और डिनाइंग गिल्ट. You know, this is the American system in SEC, Securities Exchange Commission in US. They have a system of receiving fine or collecting fine without accepting or denying guilt. The same is applicable in India also. कि आप पेनल्टी भर दो और फिर आप बोलो कि भाई मैंने ऐसा गलत कुछ नहीं किया, पर मैं ऐसा भी नहीं बोलो कि मैंने ऐसा गलत किया. Both ways, without accepting or denying guilt. So they recapitalized. Now, the larger issue which I was telling, the larger issue is that can't our regulators be more proactive than doing postmortem of this? These ratios जो हमको 9 times और 5 times मिला, ये रेगुलर बेसिस पर नहीं हो सकता है? Why do we have to wait for an event of collapse of a company, loss of lives, and then taking a proactive decisions? Why can't the regulators become more forthcoming outright?
So where the internal auditors in this company?
I don't know, but then it is a listed company. They have to have an internal auditor. They have to have internal. और अभी तो नई एक्ट में तो इंटरनल ऑडिटर का भी अपॉइंटमेंट होता है, एमसीए में फॉर्म भरना पड़ता है, अपलोड करना पड़ता है, along with the scope and remuneration. हाँ, if I am not wrong, कंपनी जो जिनका कंपनीज एक्ट का प्रैक्टिस होगा फॉर्म भरते होंगे, उनको शायद बेहतर पता होगा, पर जहां तक मैं जानता हूँ इंटरनल ऑडिटर का अपॉइंटमेंट फाइल करना पड़ता है आरओसी में, along with scope and remuneration. I mean, this is my understanding. Now, who regulates the rating agencies? Without availability of data even to auditors, how did they form the opinion and gave higher ratings? These credit ratings are very grey area.
One thing.
Yes.
See, Fitch was the rating agency.
Yes.
And the Japanese held 73%.
Yes.
The control and management was with the Japanese. In spite of holding only so under IFRS, it would be the accounts would be consolidated with
Japan.
with the Japanese company.
Must be.
So
It must
maybe
be.
like while trying to find out the rating, like a base, the Japanese base, and the Japanese are supposed to be like
But
very
ma'am,
honest and
I.
so that could have
No,
been.
I had this idea of Japanese being honest before I read today's paper while I was preparing for this session. I read a paper which was on Olympus fraud, though I have not used that in any of the presentations, but then that fraud was, that paper was based on the psychological impact and cultural boundaries of countries in preventing or aggravating frauds. The paper was based on that. So they dissected the entire Japanese mentality. Basically जापान का mentality ठीक है, honesty वो अपनी जगह पर है या fraudulent वो अपनी जगह पर, उनका ग्रुप के साथ रहना है, कोहेसिव बन के रहना है. They don't become an outlier even something wrong is happening. मतलब कुछ गलत हो रहा होगा तो भी they don't defy.
They will be party to it.
They will be party to it. They will not defy. That is the psyche of Japan.
And just like Indians, it is presumed that Indians are predominantly unethical or we would commit frauds, whereas for the Japanese is the reverse.
No, we got two more points in transparency index.
What?
So,
Otherwise, like see.
So from 39 points we got 40, 1 point. From 39 points we got 40 points in transparency, in ratings by transparency index.
But otherwise, like it is generally presumed, like how Japanese would be, presumed to be honest.
Indians are presumed to be liars.
Exactly.
Anyways, I don't subscribe to this view. Neither I refute to this view.
It's not my view, but like that is generally what is presumed. In the
I don't know. But anyways, I mean, ratios don't lie. If the ratios were calculated now, why couldn't this was done earlier? So ratios don't lie. If it's too good to be true, don't believe it to be true. It's a simple statement. Something is too good to be true.
That's the
You should
first
not-
point for a fraud.
Yes,
For
you should
it's
not
a
believe
fraud.
it to be true. Red flags are there to make you stop. Please stop, watch, and then go. Rules are made to follow in letter and spirit, not to circumvent them. Otherwise, you will be triggering amendments, just like our corporate giants do. Values and morals are only factor which can bring holistic change in fraudulent practice. Rather fraudulent activities होना चाहिए, practice तो गलत word हो जाता है. Values and morals are only factor. Imbibing moral value right from the very basic. हमारे अहमदाबाद में तो खास जरूरत है, कोई सिग्नल पे रुकता नहीं, जो रुका रहता है उसको बेवकूफ मानते हैं.
कोई पीछे से आके ठोक जाएगा।
बाहर वाला कोई आके रुका हुआ रहता तो उसको बोलते हैं हाँ यार
बोलेगा कब आगे आएगा ये
खबर नहीं पड़ती, नहीं तो रोका तू। I had my cousin, he came from Mumbai. Day before yesterday, we were going to receive somebody at the airport. तो CG road cross करने का हुआ, तो वो मेरे को बोलता है ये CG road है ना, मैं कहा यहाँ का सबसे पॉश रोड है। बोला नहीं दूसरा भी चीज है, यहाँ पर सब ट्रैफिक में रुकते हैं। CG road पे signals are to be followed, बाकी सब जगह पे signals are not to be followed. मैंने बोला who gave you this perception? बोला nobody gave me, I see, I have eyes.
And it's just a perception, you can't challenge it.
It's a perception, you can't challenge it. Be vigilant. That's the last thing what I would like to say, that you should be vigilant. Now, formally the trauma of sitting and listening to me comes to an end. Voluntarily, as a customer, I have to ask, if you have any questions, please do ask me any questions. चलिए प्लीज। Yes.
In your opinion, in the Rico India case, apart from company and directors, who can be the first guilt person? How do you define?
Rico India, apart from the company and
The management, internal management.
management including directors, who can be the
First person who could have stopped or could have identified the same.
junior level employees could have blown whistle. विसल ब्लो कर सकते थे जूनियर लेवल एम्प्लॉय, पर उनका प्रोटेक्शन एश्योर्ड नहीं है। हमारे यहाँ विसल ब्लोअर एक्ट है जो नोटिफाई नहीं हुआ है, तो कोई क्या विसल ब्लो करेगा? यू हैव टू फाइट द माइटी एंड पावरफुल। मेरे ख्याल से द ओनर्स फॉल्स ऑन रेगुलेटर्स। आई मीन आई कैन नॉट थिंक ऑफ समबडी बेटर। इफ यू कैन प्लीज थ्रो लाइट ऑन दैट।
As you said, these CAs are everywhere.
Yes.
So the accounting staff, there may be internal
Yes.
auditors,
Yes.
external auditors.
Yes.
Everywhere we were.
Yes.
But we raising questions to internal that rating agency or regulator. I think we were the first person who could have identified.
We were. So, but then we were the part of the financial team. We must be in the board of directors. We must be in the management.
Key manager.
We must be in the audit. We must be at the junior level. I don't think a company like Rico must be having less than 15 chartered accountants or 10 chartered accountants. 1000 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है तो 15 सीईओ को तो रोजी रोटी देना ही चाहिए ना, नहीं तो क्या कंपनी है?
Even in the team of beneficiaries also, no?
We definitely. Otherwise, it is a shame to the fraud if we were not in the team of beneficiaries.
Then you wouldn't have committed the crime.
Yes.
So it means we are the first key person.
Sir, we definitely. I never say that we are not guilty. We actually are.
Charity begins at home.
We actually are.
There need to be some mind before.
We actually are. We need to. हमको अपनी ज़रूरतों को उतनी सीमित करनी चाहिए जब हमारी ज़रूरतें हमारे एथिक्स पर हावी ना हो जाए। Probably सुनने में ये odd लगता हो, अजीब लगता हो, लेकिन जब तक हम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तब तक नहीं हो पाएगा।
सर ज़रूरतों को सीमित करने से ज़्यादा इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट दैट अपने मॉरल्स को स्ट्रेंथन करो।
मैडम वो
अगर मॉरल स्ट्रेंथन हो गए तो ज़रूरत अपने आप ही सैटिस्फाई हो जाएगी। Because you know that you will not do anything wrong at the cost of your morals and ethics. जब morals का जब compromise होते हैं तभी तो fraud होता है ना। इतनी मेरी
चलिए ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। सर ने मेरे को एक चिट्ठी दी है, बड़ी प्यार से छोटी सी बना के दी हुई है। I don't know how am I supposed to throw light on this, but then I'll read what he has exactly written. He wants me to please throw some light and share your views on Vijay Mallya's case. If time permits, time will definitely permit. I find time for everything. How banks are cheated in spite having now the sensitive areas he is hitting. Despite having concurrent audit, internal audit, inspection audit, stock audit, RBI controls.
इतना सारा होने के बाद भी how he succeeded.
इतना सारा होने के बाद भी कैसे सक्सीड करते हैं सर? आप तो काफी सीनियर लग रहे हैं, अनुभवी है, इतना उम्र गंवाए हैं, आपको खुद पता होगा चीजें कैसे चलती है।
We want your views.
Sir,
being expert on the topic.
Sir, see, I have an opinion that the systems and processes are very well defined in Indian financial sector or legal sector.
Follow.
जरूरत है उनको इम्प्लीमेंट करने की. कहीं ना कहीं दो चीज हुआ है, either ethics and values have been compromised or there has been a विश्वरूप of विजय मल्ल्या कि विजय मल्ल्या तो कभी फ्रॉड कर नहीं सकता है. ये दोनों में से कोई एक चीज हुआ है. अब आपने इतने सारे ऑडिट लिखे हुए, आई एम श्योर और भी एक आध दो ऐड कर सकते हैं इस लिस्ट में, और होगा ही किंगफिशर जैसी कंपनी के पीछे. पर मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि हम कोई भी फ्रॉड आज डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, हम या ओलंपस डिस्कस कर रहे हैं या रिको डिस्कस कर रहे हैं या सत्यम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, हम कोई भी फ्रॉड डिस्कस कर रहे हैं तो उसमें इतने ही ऑडिट होते हैं. इट इज जस्ट राइटिंग द नेम ओनली हाइलाइट्स द प्रॉब्लम. सर आपकी जानकारी के लिए मैं बताऊं, 2008 में इन द ईयर 2008 व्हेन सत्यम, I suppose in the year 2008 when Satyam declared or Mr. Raju when he declared that 7136 crores का घपला है, उसमें भी 5040 crores were inflated बैंक. नो मैम, सेल्स तो फिर भी बुद्धि लगती है खोजने में. inflated बैंक डिपॉजिट एंड कैश बैलेंस. Which company keeps 5000 crore in current account or fixed deposit? अब सर उस केस में आप कितने ऑडिटर कितने लोगों को ब्लेम करेंगे? What can we say to that? And do you know, 4 months before this, 4 months before Mr. Ramlinga Raju wrote the letter, 4 months or 5 months before that, Satyam got a Golden Peacock Award for best corporate governance. Look at the irony. हम किसी काउंसिल मेंबर के साथ थे बैठे, सेंट्रल काउंसिल, उन्होंने ऐसा कहा कि he knew the signatory on Satyam's balance sheet. He said कि हमेशा हम लोग आजू बाजू में बैठते थे. He was one gem of the person. I never expected कि वो इसमें इन्वॉल्व होंगे. किसको आप ब्लेम करेंगे अगर जो 5000 करोड़ के एफडीआर फॉल्सिफाइड है? Whom would you blame? Whom would you say? So there's nothing to say. It is only a point which all of us should ponder, which all of us should think and imbibe that into our reports. और क्या कर सकते हैं? That is only contribution that we can do by ourselves. हम यही कर सकते हैं. Anyways, any further questions?
Have you studied commodities markets?
Yes, sir.
So, what was the
We are तुषार भाई के साथ we are in process of, we have finalized the audit report of a commodity exchange where systematic money laundering through synchronized trade. किसी और दिन आपको पूरे केस के साथ हम समझाएंगे, ठीक है? पर वो सिंक्रोनाइज ट्रेड होता है बिटवीन नोन पार्टीज, बाई सेल होता है, प्राइसेस को रिग किया जाता है, इलिक्विड कमोडिटी सिलेक्ट की जाती है जो और ट्रेडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे ट्रेड नहीं होता हो, इनोवेटिव कमोडिटी सिलेक्ट की जाती है जिसको कोई नहीं खरीदता बेचता हो.
ultimately the base was there was no stock and the
Agreed,
receipts
sir.
were being
Agreed, sir.
given.
There was no stock. Agreed.
And not only that, even the transactions that were taking place between the broker and the client, which has to be for only 10 days as per the
Yes.
Act provision, was
Yes.
being extended for more than 30 days,
Yes.
60 days.
Yes.
So that was known to the regulators
Sir,
also.
even the settlement guarantee fund,
Yeah.
इवन द सेटलमेंट गारंटी फंड और 10% भी सेटलमेंट गारंटी फंड नहीं था. सर नियम तो होते ही है पालन करने के लिए. मुझे ऐसे ही कहना चाहिए ना, रिकॉर्डिंग हो रहा है. नियम तो होते हैं पालन करने के लिए और उनको पालन करना चाहिए. नहीं करते हैं तो लॉ टेक्स इट्स ओन कोर्स. वी बिलीव इन इंडियन जुडिशरी.
But how did it come on surface? At what point of time?
सर क्या होता है ना, कोई भी फ्रॉड जब एक अनमैनेजेबल लेवल पे चला जाता है ना, अनमैनेजेबल लेवल पे कैसे चला जाता है? जब स्केल वाइड हो जाता है तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, जितने ज्यादा लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं उतने डिस्ग्रंटेड लोग ज्यादा होते हैं, उनमें से फिर कोई चाह के कोई अनचाहे विसल ब्लो कर देता है। मतलब वो धमकाने के चक्कर में बोलता है कि मैं बोल दूंगा सेबी में, मैं बोल दूंगा सेबी में, मुझे मेरा पैसा दे दे,
But
मतलब वो घूस का हिस्सा मुझे भी दे दे, नहीं देगा तो मैं बोल दूंगा सेबी, वो बोल दिया, बात आगे बढ़ गया।
But there the regulator has been taking a stand that it is ultimately the greed of the investors. What can we do? They should have, there were enough signals
So now
that
without
in the
prejudice
market.
to reading the entire report, I cannot debate on this, but then I'll tell you one thing. Everybody needs to save his or her own face. Even the regulator. The regulator cannot say that I have been taken for a ride, I was not vigilant enough, मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया। अरे boss, humans are supposed to be greedy. If this basic trait of human being is stopped, the entire securities market and financial system will collapse. 1000 रुपए में रिलायंस आप क्यों बेचते हो? क्योंकि मेरा ग्रीड है कि वो 1100 रुपए होगा तभी मैं खरीदता हूं ना। मैं अगर खरीदने के लिए नहीं रहूंगा, आप बेचोगे किसको? लेकिन अब ये बोल के झगड़ा कौन करे? या उसके लिए फिर प्लेटफॉर्म होगी झगड़ा करे?
दूसरा कि जब ये स्कैम्स जब भी पता चल रहे थे कम इनटू द लाइमलाइट ना, for a few days the stock prices always shoot up and then धड़ाधड़ सेलर सर्किट एकदम फॉल होती है। पर
सब खत्म हो जाता है तब स्कैम लाइट में आते हैं,
हाँ।
सब स्टोरी खत्म हो जाता है तब लाइट पे आते हैं। एनीवेज चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर पेशेंट हियरिंग एंड होप टू सी यू समटाइम्स अगेन। ठीक है, आई होप यू एंजॉयड दिस सेशन एज मच एज आई एंजॉयड डिलीवरिंग इट। थैंक यू।